Morning Britain. Detectives searching for Sarah Everard have uncovered human remains as a serving police officer is questioned over her suspected murder.
Labour turns up the heat on the government over nurses' pay amid signs Boris Johnson might perform a U-turn. We're going to be asking Labour's deputy leader what's there to pay nurses.
Remembering the victims of Dunblane, Lorraine will be here before 8 as she returns to the scene of the terrible tragedy 25 years on.
It's the Queen to offer Harry and Meghan an olive branch. It's reported that she'll personally talk to the couple in the coming days.
And who'll be crowned King or Queen of the Ice this weekend? Well, who better to ask than skating royalty Christopher Dean.
Thursday, 11th of March, 2021. Live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Ben Shephard and Kate Garraway.
Hello there, good morning. It has just gone 6:30. Welcome to the programme. Quite a quiet week.
Yeah, a bit of a boring old week. Yeah.
Not a lot going on. Obviously, there's been a lot of headlines being made this week centred around this programme, centred around one of our colleagues, Piers, of course. Somebody who we got to know very well over the last few years, certainly, and you were friends with him predating being part of GMB, and I know that he's been very supportive to you and the family through everything that you're going through with Derek.
That's the thing about Piers, isn't he? He is very passionate. He does fly kites and have debates, but it always comes from a place of authenticity. He always believes in what he says. And he's left. He's decided to quit, and as he put it himself, fall on his sword of free speech. But as you rightly say, I've known him a long time before we started working this programme. Our friendship will go on, our personal friendship, and he's been very supportive of me personally. But yeah, it's a different show, isn't it? But the show goes on. Yeah, as Susanna said yesterday, and that's absolutely crucial. And it's crucial that we all appreciate and understand that right now, particularly in the middle of the pandemic, and what we've seen our frontline nurses and doctors going through, and the concern about the mental health impact of that and what that's going to do. And Dr. Hillary's with us as well, and I'm sure you've got anecdotal evidence of people on the front line experience PTSD, talking about how difficult it's been to cope in those sorts of environments. That the debate about mental health and the concern for people with mental health is something we take very seriously and is hugely important to all of us.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, talking of Piers did a great deal to look after the mental health of NHS staff. He championed the fact that they were under the cosh, they were working very hard. He offered to pay their parking fines, their ludicrous parking fines in hospital, and actually did that. He had a very generous heart, actually. And we...
Still does,
and I had,
Henry.
of course...
He's only not in the studio. He's still around, and you know.
Absolutely. I mean, I had my spats with Piers, but you know, he took politicians to account. He asked the secondary question. He didn't just let it go when they just fobbed him off with the first answer. He probed and he pushed, and he was well researched. And I think he did champion the little people, the people who had no voice. And I think we shouldn't forget that. But you know, as we all know him personally off screen, generous to a fault, very loyal. And yeah, of course he had his strong opinions, and that polarises people into either complaining or praising. And he was always going to get his critics, but you know, people often shout louder when they're criticising than when they're backing people.
Well, also as well, you know, you mentioned the debate around mental health. That's what's surrounding and swirling his departure, isn't it? But the other debate, of course, is freedom of speech, which we're talking about, and we're debating that a bit later on the programme about where the lines are drawn in terms of freedom of speech.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But, you know, as far as the NHS is concerned, post-traumatic stress is a major problem at the moment. So the pandemic's been raging for 15, 16 months, and with very little sign of abating just yet for the NHS staff. People think it's all over, but by no means is it. You know, yesterday, 6,000 people tested positive. 6,000 who can pass it on to another 6,000. Some of them were ill enough to need hospitalisation, about 600 needing hospitalisation in the last couple of days each day. And of those, you know, we're still seeing nearly 200 dying, so it's not over yet.
Chris Whitty was saying that a fourth wave is inevitable. Would it be a different sort of fourth wave?